What's up, guys? Cheers. Drinking some Shilajit in the morning. I pop on here and make a video because it's been a couple of days. I've been kind of going through a lull, call it a flat line, where you've been just kind of flying high on all of this SR energy, and then you kind of go through a little phase where you're like a little bit more tired, a little less energetic. Lasted a couple of days for me. I had a feeling it was going to end, and I was right. Today it's ended, and I woke up feeling pretty charged up, and I'm kind of back in my zone, got my mojo back. So thought I'd make a video for you guys. So this one is going to be about intention. Your intention on retention. Your intention is key on semen retention. I think your intention is key in a lot of matters. And anytime you engage in a spiritual practice, especially, your intention for doing so is very important, because if you have the wrong intention for getting into this practice, you're less likely to succeed. You're less likely to last, to endure. Because really, semen retention, like any spiritual practice, is about endurance. Right? This isn't a race. This isn't about collecting days. This isn't a competition. This is really about enduring, because the real rewards come with time, come with discipline and consistency over time. And the same is true with physical practices and mental practice. When you want to get really smart, you want to be an expert at something. Well, you've got to study that thing on a consistent, regular basis. And then you've got to take time to allow that information to integrate, right? On like a mental level. Let's say if we were studying something. Same thing's true like physical, like cultivating athleticism, cultivating strength and power in the gym. These things take consistency over time. So there's always going to be like periods of work and periods of difficulty and struggle, followed by periods of rest. And those things, take you on an upward trajectory when you are consistent over time. A lot of people give up too soon. That's the problem. There's a lot of people that have a goal in mind, whether it be with school, whether it be with physical fitness in the gym, or whether it be with the spiritual practice. They have some sort of notion about where this is going to take them. And the intention is driven by by getting to that place. There's an expectation. And a lot of times people will go a certain length of time with something, and they don't get where they thought they were going to get, so they give up. And it's sad to see, because all they needed to do was stick this thing out. As a personal trainer and as a music teacher, professionally, I watch this all the time. I mean, I can't tell you how many guitar students I've had where it's like they give up right before the miracle happens. It's like they get frustrated, and then they put the thing away, and it's like they made progress, but they can't see it as well as I can. And they were about to have a breakthrough, but they stopped because they had some expectation, some notion, or their intention was maybe wrong. Maybe they thought they were doing this to impress somebody, to get girls or whatever, right? And so ultimately, they're not the ones that stick with it. See, the ones that stick with it, they'll get into music, for example, out of pure love for music, passion, and they're okay with the journey. They embrace the journey of it. And those are the ones that endure, and those are the ones that end up getting good at it. Same is true with if you want to be a great athlete. You've got to be willing to deal with these like periods of difficulty, with this struggle, and then these periods of, hard work and then rest, hard work, rest. You've got to stick that out over a long period of time. Same thing is true when I coach people on nutrition stuff. A lot of people, it's like they expect to have these massive results too soon, and then they give up, and then they go back, and then they're on this, lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, gain weight, right? Same thing applies to semen retention. So a lot of people will get into this because they want to attract more females, for example. That's the wrong intention. And yeah, if you stop lusting after them, and you stop chasing them around, and you stop acting like they have power you don't, naturally they're going to be more attracted to you, because you just stand out in the crowd and you make them feel safe. Of course, so you can try and use this, practice to manipulate your way into getting more female attraction. But what you're doing now is really kind of like on the dark side. You're using manipulation tactics. You see what I'm saying? Now, I could equate this also to if your goal is to get more physically fit. The same thing is true. A lot of people get into that because they want to get girls. And I'll tell you what happens to those people is they ultimately don't stick with it. They might get fit, they might get all these results, and maybe they do get a girl, but they're going to get a girl that's probably as lust driven as they are. Because if a girl's into you because of the way you look, I mean, that's a red flag. Just like if we're only into a girl because of the way she looks, that's a red flag. So we can't be just looking at each other's meat suits, treating each other like animals, unless we want to be like them. See what I'm saying? This is all about rising above that. Rabbits, man, they fornicate all day long. We're human beings, right? We got to do better than that. All right. Society wants us to act like a bunch of animals out here, and they want us to believe we're animals, right? The whole thing's like, oh yeah, you're basically just a slightly more evolved ape. Give me a break. Give me a break with that. All right. That's a tangent we're not going to go too far into. All right. So your intention here really should be about, I want to be the best version of myself. I want to grow both spiritually, mentally, and physically, all of it. I want to be a balanced, strong-minded, principled human being that is motivated by moral and ethical principles, right? You want to be dignified. You want to be more masculine. You want to step into the role that God has given you as a man, which means that you're not somebody that's easily seduced, driven around by temptations and cravings. You're not somebody that's, wolfing down fast food and cookies, sitting in front of a TV, getting weaker, chasing women, looking at corn sites, and sacrificing your vitality, your essence, and your masculinity for a quick fix. All of those things make you weaker. If we didn't live in a society that basically domesticated humans and made everything way too convenient and easy for us, guess what? There'd be less feminine men out here. By the law of necessity would drive that, because we would need strong, able-bodied, able-minded, principled men. We would need those, right? The thing is, this structure, this paradigm that we're in, the matrix, the world, whatever you want to call it, is falling apart, is crumbling before our eyes. And if you are the slightest bit awake, you can see that, okay? It's like a sinking ship, and a lot of people out here rearranging furniture on the Titanic. You know what I'm saying? They can't seem to get their heads around this. And those are the people that are likely going to go down with the ship. Now, we are not those people, y'all. That's not us. We're rising above this. We found a safety raft. We done jumped ship, found ourselves a safety raft, and we're on our way off to safety. And that safety raft is made out of obedience to God's laws, to natural law. So obey the laws of the body, the mind, and the spirit, right? So not fornicating, not wasting your sexual vital energy is a law of the spirit. Because really that's a spiritual thing. Think about the power of that stuff that you have has the power when it goes into a fertile woman to bring spirit into flesh. The spiritual. That's why this is a spiritual thing, right? But it also affects your brain chemistry in a very positive way. It affects your body in a positive way. Of course it does, because spirit's the foundation of these things. So when your spirit is healthy, your mind and your body are going to start to follow suit. Now, similarly, this works also in reverse. It's very hard to sustain a spiritual practice or even understand what the point of one is if your body and your mind are really broken down and riddled with toxins and poisons. So this is why I always talk about on the semen retention journey, it's not enough just to retain, you guys. You've got to have a very clean vessel. You've got to be in obedience to natural law that includes laws of body, mind, spirit. Like I said, laws of the body include, you've got to move. You've got to move all parts of your body every day. Move it or lose it, right? Now, I don't care if this looks like weightlifting, jogging, running, yoga, whatever. Move. Use this thing, this gift that you were given in any way that you can. I just went through knee surgery, so I had a period where I couldn't really do much with my lower body, but I used my upper body instead. I did whatever I can. Very, very challenging for me, but I learned a lot from it. So, laws of the mind, you guys. What are you looking at? What are you thinking about? What are you giving your attention to? Who are you engaging with, and what's the nature of their mind? Because the same way that the frequency of the food you eat, if you eat low frequency food from fast food chains, it's going to lower your physical vitality, which is going to affect your brain chemistry, which is going to make you less intelligent and less clear and less focused. Same thing is true when you engage with another person. You're consuming a bit of their energy. You're sharing energy. And there's energy, you could think of those as like energetic nutrients, and that's affecting your mind and your frequency. People tend to want to match frequencies so that we can communicate. So if somebody's on a really low frequency and you're communicating with them, either they're going to have to come up to your level, or you're going to have to go down to theirs at some point, or maybe you meet in the middle. But you got to ask yourself, is it really worth it for me to come down to a certain level just to interact with this person? Sometimes it is, because you really just want to help somebody. And maybe it's worth a little bit of that exchange, and maybe, but only if they're willing to elevate. Because if you can help somebody elevate, great, because then you're going to walk away and that's going to elevate you in the long run. But we have to be really discerning about this, because a lot of people are so negative that they're just going to leave you feeling lowered, in your vibration. And that's not, that defeats the purpose of this. So we have to be vigilant about that. The other thing too is, what are you listening to? What's the nature of the music you're listening to? What kind of programming is that doing? What sound is very powerful? What's that having? How is that affecting your brain? We're talking about laws of the mind, right? So music, people's energy, stuff you look at, right? The type, looking at a screen versus looking at a sunset versus looking at a tree. These things matter. If you're staring at girls' body parts still, this is going to be very difficult for you, and you're probably not going to last, because you got it twisted. Your intentions are wrong, right? So if our intentions are pure on this journey, we're going to have a lot better time with it. We're going to have a greater likelihood of success. And it's going to naturally, because like I said, it's a spiritual practice, along the way, you're naturally going to be more inclined towards taking better care of your body and your mind. Because you see how all of these things are connected, and all of these things have laws. We have to obey those laws if we want to ascend out of this false paradigm, this matrix of man's law, of this false authority structure, right? This is a bit of a tangent. I want to make a whole other video on this, actually, about the false power structure that a lot of people believe is real. And in order to really, really come into the realization how false this other power structure is, you have to come in contact with true power. Semen retention will get you there. Spiritual practice will get you there. Obeying these natural laws is going to get you in accordance with the real law that's immutable and eternal, was here before you got here and will be after you leave. So man's law, they're always revising it, right? It's very sus. It's suspicious. It is false. So these false authority paradigm structures, those are for us to remove ourselves from. Okay, we don't have to go and start some revolution and try and break them down. They're breaking themselves down. They're falling apart on their own. We can just kind of sit back and watch that happen. Like I said, because now we're on the safety raft, right? And now we're watching the ship sink, and it's sad and it's hard to watch, but it's kind of something that